Okay, let's start with this session. Now, before that, in the last lecture itself, okay, we started with this numerical 12 kg of air per minute was delivered to a device. The device is centrifugal compressor, right? Then inlet and outlet conditions were given: velocity, pressure and specific volume for inlet, as well as velocity, pressure and specific volume for outlet. Both things were given. Additionally, the increase in enthalpy of air passing through compressor was also given. So enthalpy at the end of compression process was greater than inlet by the value of 150 kilojoules per kg. So H2 minus H1 is equal to 150 kilojoules per kg. That was given. In the numerical itself, increase in enthalpy was also given. So H2 minus H1 was 150 kilojoules per kg. Additionally, the heat loss during the compression process was also given, 700 kilojoules per minute. That kilojoules per minute has to be converted into kilojoules per kg. So for that one, what we did, Q is equal to 700 kilojoules per minute divided by 60 into 2. So when you divide this one by 60, it will become kilojoules per second. And when you further divide it by 0.2, 0.2 is mass flow rate, it will become kilojoules per kg. Mass flow rate is 12 kg per minute. Mass flow rate is 12 kg per minute, and when you divide it by 60 to convert it into kg per second, it will become 0.2 kg per second. So that way we converted this Q into kilojoules per kg. After that, we inserted all the values into steady flow energy equation for centrifugal compressor. We considered this Z1G, Z2G, that is change in potential energy also, because in statement itself they have mentioned that assume inlet and outlet are at the same level. But if you look at the steady flow energy equation that we have derived for centrifugal compressor, you won't find this potential energy term there, right? So even if you don't write this one in the equation, that is perfectly fine. So after that, we inserted all the values and we got work transfer, or the first thing that was asked is the motor power required to drive the compressor. So we were supposed to calculate the work input, and that we got 42.45 kilojoules per second or kilowatt, right? That is going to be negative because it is work required or work consumed. But the amount is going to be 42.45 or 42.46 kilojoules per second or kilowatt. After that, the second thing that was asked is ratio of inlet and outlet pipe diameter, right? That we were supposed to calculate. Pratik, did we solve for that D1 by D2?
No, sir.
Okay, so we are supposed to solve that one today. Okay. So we need to find D1 by D2, ratio of diameter of inlet to the outlet. Now for that one, we have one relation, mass flow rate. Mass flow rate relation is A1 into C1 by specific volume V1. The normal relation m dot is equal to AC by V. Now I'm writing it for inlet as well as outlet. So mass flow rate m dot is equal to A1 C1 by V1, and that is going to same for outlet also. So A2 C2 by small V2. So m dot is going to be equal for both inlet and outlet, because the process itself is steady flow process, and steady flow process means mass flow rate at entry and exit is going to be same. Now from this relation we need to find this d1 by d2. So for that one, let's rearrange this equation. A1 by A2, I am shifting this A2 towards the left and this V1 and C1 to the right. So A2 by A1 is equal to C2 into V1 by C1 into V2. We have rearranged the terms. Why I have taken this A1 by A2 to the left? Because we need to find this D1 by D2. Now this A1 by A2 is nothing but pi by 4 D1 square by pi by 4 D2 square is equal to C2 V1 by C1 into V2. This pi by 4 will get eliminated, and D1 square by D2 square is equal to C2 V1 by C1 V2. Now put the values. What is C2 and V1? This is 90 meter per second. V1 is 0.5. C1 is 12 and V2 is 0.14. Put these values in calculator and tell me D1 square by D2 square. Solve this one and tell me the ratio what you got. Rishikesh, what is the answer? Rishikesh, decay. Yogesh,
Yes,
Ele.
sir.
What you have got for D1 square by D2 square? By solving this bracket, what you have got? Don't forget that at the end of this session, you need to send me picture of your notebook. I am following this strictly. I have marked many of you absent for the last session and prior to that also. So if you are thinking that I am not saying anything, it doesn't mean that you are being considered present. You are being marked absent. So follow this strictly and keep sending me pictures of your notebook. Pratik.
So
D1
45
square
by
by
1.68.
sorry, what you have got?
45 divided by 1.68.
And after solving that one?
6.708 divided by 1.296.
No, tell me exact value. D1 square by D2 square. I have got 26.78. What you are getting?
26.68.
That is fine. 26 point something is fine. This is D1 square by D2 square. But we don't need to take this square, right? We have been asked to find ratio of D1 by D2, right? We need to take this ratio of D1 by D2. So by taking square root of this one, d1 by d2 is equal to square root of 26.78, and finally d1 by d2 is going to be 5.175, and as this is a ratio, it is going to be a unitless quantity. Okay, so finally d1 by d2, or ratio of inlet to the outlet pipe diameter, is equal to 5.175. Is that correct? Anybody has got same answer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, let's start next numerical. Note down this statement. In one of the section of heating plant, in one of the section of heating plant, in which there are no pumps used, in which there are no pumps used, comma, the water the water enters steadily, the water enters steadily at a temperature of 50 degrees Celsius, enter steadily at a temperature of 50 degrees Celsius, and pressure of 3 bar, and a pressure of 3 bar, in bracket H is equal to 240 kilojoules per kg. In bracket H is equal to 240 kilojoules per kg, full stop. The water leaves at 35 degrees Celsius. The water leaves at 35 degrees Celsius and 2.5 bar, 35 degrees Celsius and 2.5 bar, in bracket H is equal to 192 kilojoules per kg. H is equal to 192 kilojoules per kg. Full stop. The exit pipe is 20 meter above the entry pipe. The exit pipe is 20 meter above the entry pipe. Full stop. Assuming delta Ke negligible, assuming delta Ke change in kinetic energy negligible, comma, calculate the heat transfer from the water per kg of water flowing. Calculate the rate of heat transfer from water per kg of water flowing. Read the statement carefully and try to note down the given data. Okay, read statement along with me. Now, before noting down the data and all, can any one of you tell me which device is it? We need to use steady flow energy equation for that particular device. So can any one of you tell me which device is it? Or what equation we need to use? Unmute yourself and tell me which device we need to use. Is it a single device or multiple device? Is it combination of multiple devices?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is combination of multiple devices. So we cannot use equation for any single device. So we need to use generalized equation, that is H1 plus C1 square by 2 plus Z1G plus Q is equal to H2 plus C2 square by 2 plus Z2G plus W. This is general equation and we need to use this equation. Okay, so let's enlist the given data. Read the statement. In one of the section of heating plant, so they don't have mentioned section, right? And additionally they have mentioned that pumps are there, and because of that one we cannot use any particular equation. So in one of the section of heating plant in which there are no pumps used, you need to pay little extra attention to this word. This is going to play a role. So at the moment there are no pumps used, comma, the water enters steadily at what condition they have given. For inlet the temperature is 50 degrees Celsius and pressure is 3 bar. Now temperature has given, pressure has given. Actually from this temperature and pressure we are supposed to calculate this enthalpy, what they have given as an input itself. Once you start solving numericals on properties of pure substance, uh, even if they don't provide the value of H, and if they have provided this pressure and temperature, from those two, from a chart, psychrometry chart is there, from that chart you can directly find the enthalpy value. But at the moment we haven't seen that psychrometry chart and all. They have given H as an input itself. Okay, so because of that one the pressure and temperature is not useful now, right? So we are going to directly mention this H. So H1 is equal to 240 kilojoules per kg. We don't need to worry about this pressure and temperature because from those two we are going to get this H. Similarly, the water leaves at, again pressure and temperature is given. Temperature 35, pressure 2.5 bar, and from those two value you are going to get value of enthalpy, and that is H2 is equal to 192 kilojoules per kg. So H1 and H2 is given. Additionally, the exit pipe is 20-meter above the entry pipe. So Z2 minus Z1 is equal to 20-meter that they have given. Okay. Anything else is there? Assuming delta KE negligible. So delta KE is equal to 0. So if you consider delta KE is equal to 0, this C1 square by 2 will become 0. This C2 square by 2 will become 0. The difference between those two is 0. So we are going to directly eliminate those two things. Then Z2 and Z1, that difference is given 20-meter. We need to find Q. Then what about W? H2 is there. This term is gone. This Z2 minus Z1 is given 20-meter. Q we need to calculate. Similarly, H2 is there. Now what about this W? They don't have given W, or they have given something related to this W. Can any one of you tell me what we need to do of this W, or what can we do? Its value is given, not given.
0.
Exactly. They have given its value, but they have given in some complicated form. What they have said, there are no pumps used. We know that the pump is work consuming device. W is going to be negative for that one, and there are no pumps, so this W is going to be 0. So this W will also become 0. So put the values. H1 is 240 plus this Q we need to calculate is equal to H2 is 192 plus Z2G minus Z1G, that one is 20. So 20 into 9.81. Do we need to do anything else? Or should I keep that 20 into 9.81 itself?
Divide by 1000.
Divide by 1000, because that is in meters and we need to convert everything in kilos, right? So that meter has to be converted into kilometer. So for that one, divide by 1000 plus W is equal to 0. So from this equation, find the value of Q, that is going to be kilojoules per kg, and that's what has been asked to calculate. Put the values in calculator and let me know the value of Q that you are going to get. The meeting is going to end in almost in 1 minute. So before that, if you get the value of Q, put it in a chat window. If you don't get in 1 minute, we'll continue in the next session itself. So I'm going to end this session now and begin with the next session. So you are supposed to join the meeting immediately. Now I'm going to end this meeting, but you are supposed to join meeting with the same link immediately. Yes, what is the value of Q? Rate of heat transfer.
Minus 47.8.
Very good. Minus 47.8 kilojoules per kg. Negative sign indicates that heat is going out of the system. Okay. What about others? Mandar, what is answer? What you have got for Q?
47.6.
47.6. Plus or minus?
Minus.
Why it is minus?
Because it is going outside.
Outside the system. It is going out of the system. It is being
Yeah.
lost by the system. Okay. Anybody else? Narayan.
Yes, sir.
Mandar, mute yourself. Narayan, what is answer?
Minus 47.80.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Let's begin with the last numerical of this unit. We are going to take a look of the last numerical. This is little bit lengthy numerical. And once we are done with this numerical, we are going to start with the unit number 3. So hopefully you will be able to solve this one because this is going to be the last one. Note down this statement. I am going to dictate it as well as writing it down on the paper. So you are supposed to follow it. Write down the statement. Air at a temperature of air at a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius passes through a heat exchanger. Air at a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius passes through a heat exchanger at a velocity of 40 meter per second. At a velocity of 40 meter per second, where its temperature is raised to where its temperature is raised to 820 degrees Celsius. 820 degrees Celsius. Full stop. It is then enters the turbine. It is then enters the turbine with same velocity. It is then enters the turbine with same velocity of 40 meter per second with same velocity of 40 meter per second and expands till its temperature and expands till its temperature falls to till its temperature falls to 620 degrees Celsius. 620 degrees Celsius, full stop. On leaving the turbine, On leaving the turbine, the air, on leaving the turbine, the air is taken at a velocity of taken at a velocity of 55 meter per second taken at a velocity of 55 meter per second to a nozzle where it expands until the temperature has fallen to 510 degrees Celsius, until its temperature has fallen to 510 degrees Celsius, full stop. If the air flow rate is 2.5 kg per second, if airflow rate is 2.5 kg per second, calculate first one, rate of heat transfer to air in heat exchanger. Rate of heat transfer to air in heat exchanger. That is the first thing that has been asked to calculate. Second one, the power output. From the turbine, assuming no heat loss. Third one, the velocity at exit from nozzle assuming no heat loss. Full stop. Take enthalpy of air as delta H is equal to Cp delta T, and Cp is equal to 1.005. They have given relation for delta H. Delta H is equal to Cp into delta T, and the value of Cp is also given. Cp is equal to 1.005 kilojoules per kg per degree Celsius. Kilojoules per kg per degree Celsius. So this is the statement of the numerical, a bit lengthier one. Okay, I'll give 2 minutes. Read the statement and tell me which device we need to consider. Read the statement carefully and tell me the device used over here.
Heat exchanger, gas turbine, nozzle.
Very good. So should I use a general equation or should I use equation for heat exchanger separately, turbine separately and nozzle separately?
General equation.
Should I use general equation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other suggestion? Anybody else? What should we follow? काय करायचं ते करा म्हणा तुमचं तुम्ही, आम्हाला काही घेणं देणं नाही. बरोबर ना रे बाकीचे? Okay, who said that the general equation should be used? Was it Pratik?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Pratik and others also. If we use general equation, the system will become a little bit complicated one. And they don't have specified, like in the past, if you are able to recall, in the one numerical there was a turbine and I think a boiler was there. So there in the statement of numerical itself, it was mentioned that we are supposed to consider those two units as a single system. But here they don't have specified something like that, right? So choice is ours. And instead of using general equation, if we use equation for that individual system and consider its inlet and outlet condition only, then this numerical will become quite simple one. Okay, so instead of using general equation, we are going to solve it in a step-by-step manner, like for heat exchanger once, then turbine, and then nozzle. Okay, so read this statement and along with me try to draw one sketch. Now there are 3 devices. First one is a heat exchanger. So this is a heat exchanger. When fluid comes out of this, it is supplied to a turbine. And from turbine, it is further supplied to a nozzle. And from nozzle, it will go out of the system. Okay. So here we are going to consider this one as stage 1, this one as stage 2, this one as stage 3, and this one as stage 4. Like in previous numerical, we were using inlet and outlet. That's it, right? But here there are multiple systems connected together. So one is the inlet for heat exchanger, 2 is the outlet for heat exchanger as well as inlet for turbine. Similarly, 3 is outlet for turbine as well as inlet for nozzle, and 4 is the outlet for the nozzle, right? And let's note down the given data now. Read this statement. Air at a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius passes through a heat exchanger. Whoever has unmuted himself, mute yourself. Who's that fellow? Okay. Air at a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius passes through a heat exchanger at a velocity of 40 meter per second. So temperature and velocity is given where its temperature is raised to 820 degrees Celsius. So this is inlet temperature and this is outlet temperature for a heat exchanger, right? So for heat exchanger, the temperature T1 is 20 degrees Celsius, C1 is 40 meter per second. Those two are the input conditions for heat exchanger. And at exit, the temperature has become T2 and that is 820 degrees Celsius. Right? Let's read it further. It is then enters the turbine. After heat exchanger, next device is turbine. It is then enters the turbine with same velocity of 40 meter per second. So what they have given, once fluid comes out of the heat exchanger, its velocity becomes 40 meter per second. So when fluid comes out of the heat exchanger, its velocity is 40 meter per second, and with the same velocity, it enters the turbine also. So for section 2, C2 is 40 meter per second. Next, and it expands till its temperature falls to 620 degrees Celsius. So when it passes through turbine, its temperature becomes 620 degrees Celsius. So at section 3, temperature T3 has become 620 degrees Celsius. Next, on leaving the turbine, the air is taken at a velocity of 55 meter per second to a nozzle. So the next device after turbine is nozzle, and just like we did for heat exchanger and turbine, the velocity is going to be 55 meter per second. This 55 meter per second is outlet for turbine as well as inlet for nozzle. So for this section 3, the C3 is going to be 55 meter per second. So this 55 meter per second is outlet velocity for turbine as well as inlet velocity for nozzle. Next, it expands until the temperature has fallen to 510 degrees Celsius. That is after the nozzle. At the end of the nozzle, the temperature has fallen to 510 degrees Celsius. So over here, the temperature T4 is equal to 510 degrees Celsius. Additionally, if the airflow rate is 2.5 kg per second, so they have given mass flow rate as 2.5 kg per second. So mass flow rate m dot is equal to 2.5 kg per second. And what they have asked us to calculate, the first one, the rate of heat transfer to air in heat exchanger. So for first device, there are three devices, heat exchanger, the next is turbine, and third one is nozzle. So for heat exchanger, they have asked to calculate heat transfer. So here we need to find Q. For turbine, the power output from the turbine assuming no heat loss. So for turbine, we need to find this W. And for that one, Q is equal to 0 that they have mentioned. Okay. And third one, the velocity at exit from nozzle. So here we need to find C4, that is velocity at the exit, assuming no heat loss. So here also Q is equal to 0. Okay. Anybody has got any doubt till this point? If you have any query, any doubt, unmute yourself and ask. Or if you don't have any query, any doubt, we'll proceed further. Any query, any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So now let's solve this numerical. The first device is, let's try for heat exchanger here itself. The first one, device is heat exchanger. Can any one of you tell me the steady flow energy equation for heat exchanger? Heat exchanger, steady flow energy equation. What is the relation?
हीट एक्सचेंजरचं दिलेलं नाही.
Heat exchanger in the sense, either boiler or condenser. Both are the examples of heat exchanger. If you are able to recall that one, while explaining those two devices, I said that both are the heat exchanger, not condenser also. The next device is evaporator also.
Evaporator.
Yes, evaporator, condenser and boiler. All are the examples of heat exchanger. The heat is transferred from one working substance to the another working substance, right? So for heat, those three devices,
Boiler
you get the similar equation. Just Q is either plus or minus. That is the only difference. If it is entering the system, Q will be positive. If it is leaving the system, Q will be negative. Remaining all other terms are going to remain same, right? So tell me relation for either evaporator, boiler or condenser. Either of those three.
H1 plus Q equals to H2.
Very good. H1 plus Q is equal to H2. That is the relation, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, should I consider this Q positive or negative?
Positive, right?
Positive. Because if you look at the temperature, before heat exchanger, temperature is 20 degrees Celsius. And after the heat exchanger, temperature is 820 degrees Celsius. As its temperature has increased, Q has entered in the system, or Q has been provided to the system. So relation is going to be H1 plus Q is equal to H2. That is the final relation. Now we need to find this Q. So Q is equal to H2 minus H1. But H2 and H1 is not given, right? They have given it, but they have given in some other words. How they have given? Take enthalpy of air as delta H. H2 minus H1 is nothing but delta H, right? So delta H is equal to Cp into delta T. The value of Cp is 1.005 and delta T is nothing but temperature after process minus before process. T2 minus T1. So that way H2 minus H1 is equal to Cp into, for heat exchanger, after process is T2 and before process is T1. So T2 minus T1 is equal to 1.005 into 820 minus 20. Right? So solve this one and tell me the value of Q. That is going to be kilojoules per second.
It's 804.
Hmm? Sorry, that is going to be kilojoules per kg, not kilojoules per second, because I haven't taken mass flow rate. What you got, Pratik?
804.
804. Is that
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Yes, sir.
804 point something? No.
No, sir.
Okay, 804 kilojoules per kg. And if I want to convert this one into kilojoules per second, then I need to multiply this one by mass flow rate. What is mass flow rate? 2.5, right? So if I multiply this by 2.5, it will become kilojoules per second or kilowatt. So what it becomes? 804 into 2.5.
2010.
So that is going to be 2010 kilojoules per second or even kilowatt. So the heat transfer to air in heat exchanger is going to be 2010 kilojoules per second or kilowatt. So we are done with first device. Now let's move to the second device. Now the second device is turbine. Yes, steady flow energy equation for turbine. You can tell me the steady flow energy equation for turbine?
H1 plus C1 square by 2
Wait a minute.
minus Q equals to H2 plus
H1
C2 square by 2 plus
C1
W.
square by 2 minus Q is equal to H2 plus C2 square by 2 plus W. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now here, if you look at the given data, we need to find W, and for that one Q has been 0. There is no heat loss. So this Q is eliminated from the equation. This C1 square by 2, C2 square by 2, that is there. We know the velocity after turbine as well as before turbine. For this equation, C2 is nothing but C3 and C1 is nothing but C2, because for turbine, inlet is 2 and outlet is 3. So instead of C1, C2, it will become C2 and C3. So relation will be, let's change this H also. H2 plus C2 square by 2 minus Q is equal to H3 plus C3 square by 2. Is that fine? Or any confusion? That should be fine, right? Pratik,
Yes, sir.
that is fine, okay? Okay, so let's put the values now. H2, H3, that again we need to take in terms of Cp into delta T. We need to find this W. We have been asked to calculate the power output. So W is equal to H2 minus H3. So Cp into T2 minus T3, because we are taking H3 to the left. So Cp into T2 minus T3 plus C2 square by 2 minus C3 square by 2. Put the values. Cp is 1.005. What is T2? 820. What is T3? 620 plus C2 is 40 square by 2 into 1000, that has to be converted into kilometers, minus C3 is 55 square by 2 into 1000 So solve this one and tell me the value of W. As I said earlier, don't combine these two. If you combine these two and take 2 into 1000 common, you will get different answer. And to avoid that one, solve this one as it is. W in terms of kilojoules per kg. And if you multiply that one by 2.5, that is mass flow rate, that will become kilojoules per second or kilowatt. Yes, we have got only 5 minutes, so hurry up. Yes, what is W?
Four hundred point four eight five.
400.485.
500.7.
500.7, the difference of 100. Remaining students, verify the answer. I will tell you what I have got. In terms of kilojoules per second or kilowatt, I have got 504.3 kilojoules per second or kilowatt. 504.3. So remaining students, verify.
So 500.71.
500.71.
Yes, sir.
0.71. Okay. Anybody else? Two students have got 500 point something. Anybody like 504, 503? Okay. So let's consider this 500.71. The third device is nozzle. Pratik, what is the relation for nozzle?
H1 plus C1 square by 2 equals to H2
H1 plus C1
plus
square
C2 square
by
by 2.
2 is equal to H2 plus C2 square by 2, right? Now let's write this relation for our case, because here this H1 is nothing but H3 plus C3 square by 2 is equal to H4 plus C4 square by 2. Is that correct? Because for nozzle, inlet is 3 and outlet is 4. So this will become H3C3 and this will become H4C4. We need to find this C4. So C4 square by 2 is equal to, let's shift remaining all terms, H3 minus H4 plus C3 square by 2 is equal to Cp into T3 minus T4 plus C3 square by 2 is equal to 1.005 into what is T3 and T4, 620 minus 510 plus C3 is 55 square by 2 into 1000, and this is C4 square by 2. So shift this 2 to the right, you will get C4 square is equal to something. Take square root of this one and find C4, that is going to be kilometer per second, and finally convert that into meter per second. So tell me the answer. We have got only 1 minute left. So solve this one by yourself. If anybody got this answer in 1 minute, you can post it in a chat window or unmute yourself and tell me the answer. If you don't get it in 1 minute, after the end of this session, you are supposed to take picture of your notebook and send it to me through WhatsApp. So in that picture, the value of C4 has to be there. Okay. The meeting is going to end within 1 minute. So post this picture personally, not in group. You need to post your notebook pictures to me personally, and that is going to be your attendance. Till then, Pratik, you got C4?
Yes.